So yeah, I'm back. I'm trying to get into more uh like reaction slash just chatting stuff. I have a second channel. Go check that out in the about section. Um so yeah, and I want to post on that channel more often. Gaming videos are a little harder because, length and editing and all that. Reaction channels, you just kind of edit your reaction to it. You don't really there's not that much editing required. Maybe some zoom in, some things like that. Maybe the occasional cut if something happens. But yeah, so I thought this would be a nice quick thing to do while waiting for other things. So, it's like say hi to YouTube because you may be on it. But Fat Electrician, I'm familiar with him. I've watched him. I've even watched him on this channel before. So so it's the most important website ever, Craigslist. Uh I didn't know. I think I kind of have an idea. I've watched things about Craigslist before, just how minimal it is and the like. So I want to see his input, see if I could add any transformative things to it. Maybe I won't and all that, but who knows? I kind of get nervous about that. So let's see.
Yes, you read the title. No, I'm not kidding. I'm going to prove it to you.
Okay, let's see
Today
it.
we're talking about the most important website ever created and one of the most ethically ran businesses on the face of the earth.
Very hard to come across, especially if it's a public company. But let's see.
Craigslist.
Okay.
Sorry, what?
Okay, look, I'm gonna be honest with you. Usually this is part of the video where I have like a cool hook or a cool statistic that pulls
Right.
you into the
Right.
story and makes you want to know more, so you sit through my ad and then continue watching the video. I don't
Okay.
have that. It's just gonna be unhinged the entire time. So let's get the ad out of the way.
Delete me.
Okay.
It's the new Mustang.
I guess let's leave it in.
AR-15. It's awesome.
I'm not sure about leaving ads in because I hear trouble and things with those, but I'll leave it in.
Is it named after me?
No, but it should be.
But what's this?
This is the world's largest commercially sold zip tie that I got drunk and bought one night.
Yeah. I'd buy that.
What? All right,
Also, is that just like a general storage room in the back? There's just people doing stuff, getting the ad.
know the deal. Delete me. Online subscription model. You
Okay.
give them money every month. They turn around and make sure that data brokers on the internet aren't selling your personal information. What does this
Right.
actually do in practice? It gets rid of a bunch of robocalls and spam emails, and on top of that, your personal info isn't just floating around the internet for anybody to be able to buy for a couple of bucks. I know what you're thinking, because I thought the same thing. I don't want to give Delete Me all my personal information either. I'm trying to get my personal information off the internet. Why would I give it to an internet company?
Yeah. Well, you're paying this internet company. That's why.
You don't really have to give them your personal information. It's honestly kind of creepy. I gave them my name and my email address, and that was it. They came back to me a couple of days later and was like, Is this your address or one of your previous addresses? It was. Is this your mom's full name? Uh-huh. Is that your dad's full name? Uh-huh. Are you related to this person? Did you go to this high school? They knew everything about me and knew exactly who I was just by me giving them my name and my email. All I had to do was answer a couple of yes or no questions as to whether or not that was in fact me, which it was, at which point they're like, cool, go ahead, pay for our subscription service. We'll go to all the data brokers where we found this information and force them to delete it. And as long as you keep being a paying member, they will continue to monitor all of these data brokers for your personal information. And if these data brokers do acquire it again, they will force them to delete it again. In my opinion, it's definitely worth it. I've been using them since before they were paying me to talk about them, and I'm going to keep using them after they quit paying me to talk about them.
Yeah, I'd like to have something like that with me, but yeah, I'm broke, so.
If you want to give it a try, I'll have a link and a discount code down below. Let's get back to the video.
Okay.
Disclosure, was not planning on making this video. I needed to buy a couch, and I went on Craigslist to do it.
Right.
I thought you were a big YouTuber, and big YouTubers make a bunch of money. Why can't you just buy a new couch? Because I wanted to blow this one up with tannerite, and buying a new couch didn't seem financially responsible, okay? Quit it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'd like to blow up a couch with tannerite too. Okay.
Interrupting my story. Anyways, I need a couch. I go to Craigslist. Seems like a normal thing to do.
Yeah, if you're planning to destroy anything, really, don't buy it brand new. The only reason you'd want to buy something like that brand new is if you as if the only way you could get access to it, and you really want to slash need to blow it up. Like, I've watched test videos of like Cybertrucks, and it's like, yeah, that you're probably going to have to buy brand new. But yeah, a couch, no.
Scrolling through Craigslist, and then it dawns on me, this website has not changed in my entire life.
Looks straight out of 2005. I think 2010 they were making more detailed websites.
I've been perusing Craigslist since I was in middle school. Nothing about this website has changed whatsoever. And then the voice in the back of my head is like, how the fuck does Craigslist make money? I mean, think about it. I've never seen a single like targeted ad, like, you get ads on my YouTube videos, you get ads on Facebook, Instagram. Yeah. They don't have that. There's never been the pop-up being like, hey, give me your email and your personal information and save 10% off your next purchase. They're not selling my personal information. They've never made me pay to use the site. They've never asked me for anything. How are they making money? And I start thinking maybe it's like
I'd assume if they're not asking for anything personal to, do exactly what Delete Me tries to stop you from doing or stop from happening, selling information to data brokers, you'd assume it's like, okay, we're going to take like a cut of, any services you're offering or something like that. I'm not sure if that's actually what he's going to explain, but by the sounds of it, if he's saying that he's never been charged by Craigslist, is he implying that he actually was trying to sell something on it or something like that, and Craigslist was just like, yeah, no, we're not taking any of your money?
Like a public service type thing, like Wikipedia, like maybe some people donate just to keep the website up and running, at which point I'm like, maybe I should donate to Craigslist. I've been using it enough. I probably do owe them a little bit of money to keep the site running. You pay it forward, if you will. So let me Google it. How much money does Craigslist make? They make anywhere between $300 million and $1 billion a year.
That
they only have 50
that is a large range.
Employees and an 80% profit margin. Okay, that's like 16.
Well, yeah, because like you have 50 employees. Like, a software company is very low maintenance at that. Most of the money I think would go towards overhead costs like buildings and electricity and employee salaries, right? So if you got a 50 employee business, you don't need a huge building, and you don't have a lot of rent necessarily, and you don't need to pay people so much. Like, total they're spending, like $10 million at most, maybe significantly more depending on how many of those are executive positions and all that. But yeah, you're not really spending that much, so to speak, especially not compared to like Twitter or Facebook or Twitch, because again, you just don't have that big of a team. You're not having these like executive planners going about like every yearly redesign we're making to the platform, and then you're having these graphical artists being like, okay, so we're going to design, like a whole team being like deciding how to design the homepage alone, and then a ton of moderators and stuff like that. You just have 50 people just, working for maybe somewhere between $100,000 to $200,000 a year for their tech jobs, and then you have, of course, like a group of executives that are probably getting paid a few million to do that job, which, yeah.
$1 million generated per employee of profit. At this point, I'm like, oh, they're fucking up with something sinister. I'm going to figure out what it is. So I started looking into it, and boy, was I wrong, because it became very apparent to me very quickly that if Craig Newmark, like Craigslist, Craig, and the CEO, Jim Buckmaster, wanted to be evil tech overlord trillionaires, they absolutely could have been.
They could, because Craigslist is a serious name. It's been a serious name in tech. It's just yeah, I feel like they just intentionally didn't sell out,
That's why it's the most important website in the history of the world, all right? If you're a normal person doing normal people things on the internet, almost every website and every service you use online is a single idea that was ripped off from Craigslist and then monetized and used to exploit you to make billions of dollars. And if
was Craigslist before MySpace? Because MySpace obviously was the original, like, dedicated, at least, social media site. I don't know if I've never used Craigslist for obvious reasons. It looks dated and all that, but I don't know. So yeah, I don't know if they have any social media aspect to them, but or even if they came out before MySpace, because MySpace was like the original like major social media site. So I'm not sure if MySpace could have, ripped off anything from Craigslist, but maybe.
Craigslist wanted to do it first. They absolutely could have. And the only reason they didn't is because they looked around and they're like, I mean, we're making hundreds of millions of dollars and we're not screwing over literally anybody.
Right.
What if we just keep doing that? And that's what they did. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. We're just going to take it from the top. 1995, Craig Newmark, the guy that founded Craigslist, is living in San Francisco.
Okay.
He's a super nerdy dude, like pocket protector, glasses with the tape.
Right.
Nerdy.
Right.
He's computer savvy, not that great at making friends. So he made an email list for his like local San Francisco area where he would just
that's
an email
where
for
the
all
name
kinds
comes
of different
from.
social events like art viewings or tech meetups or whatever. Any social event that you want.
It's just like, because like usually with business you want to niche down. Now of course this obviously wasn't a period where he's like trying to make a major business, but like with major businesses you niche down, like, okay, so we're going to be like an art blog or like a social media, like a dedicated social media site or something like that, right? He's like, nah, we'll just get a list of just everyone and create kind of a social media aspect like that,
wanted to promote, you could send it to Craig and he would blast it out to all of his followers on this email list that would affectionately become known as Craig's List.
Right.
He said it.
And he pretty much just...
Now, when did the website become a thing? Because he's got like an email list, I get that. But like, when did Craigslist, and he might have had a website at this time too, but when did Craigslist, the website, become a thing?
Did this to help him and other people go out and meet and make friends. And he's just doing this on his own free time. He's still working a full-time job, managing this massive email list. And by 1996, it becomes...
This, at this point, it doesn't sound like a big deal. You just, hey, just go around. Hey, got an email list if you're interested. Just a small operation, like, one guy, maybe one guy a day or a week or something like that comes around and like, hey, I can shoot out emails for me. It's like, okay, sure. But then it gets to the point where it's like, okay, now I'm getting like 50 people trying to, request emails. I'm getting like now I'm having to deal with like 5,000 different emails to email, things like that. And obviously I'm sure even back then there were probably ways to like automate it to a degree. But it's definitely getting too big for him alone.
Too much, so he makes Craigslist as we know it today the website where he basically allows people to just upload all the details of their current event, and everybody knows they can go to Craigslist.com and they can look up all the different social events themselves. So he's one of the first, the first website to allow users to create posts to promote their social events to get people to interact with each other, which arguably makes it the first social media ever.
Right.
I'm sorry?
Beating MySpace by like
and it's the purest
5 years.
Media. Here's the plan. You come to my platform.
Right.
You meet people. You leave my platform. You go meet the people in real life. Okay, then Facebook, Meta, X, Instagram.
Yeah, that is like probably the healthiest form of social media where you are actively like engaged to go out. You just use the platform itself, like the digital faceless platform, to connect with the people. Then you go out and like meet the people like outside of the platform. That's like probably the most that is actually a pretty ethical way of doing social media. You do not encourage people to stay on social media. You encourage them to go off of it and only use it for like things like DMs and stuff like that. I mean, like using it for like just general purpose, like Twitter, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna shoot out a Twitter post and get like 5,000 people that I have no clue even exist are going to like respond in some way, shape, or form, be it like, comment, follow, things like that. Or like this is like, oh yeah, I'll just be good with like meeting 5 people online in my area, and we'll meet up at the park or something like that, and just like try to actually form a proper human bond. That is actually a pretty ethical social media idea, where it's like you're using social media to your advantage in that sense, to like actually meet real life people.
All these other social medias took that concept of like, oh, people are interacting, people are talking online, but then if they leave the platform, I can't make hundreds of billions of dollars and become an evil tech overlord. How can we make more money off of this? Oh, I know. We'll convince them to never ever leave the platform. We're going to get them to come.
Now, Craigslist isn't really in this predicament because they're a general purpose. Yo, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. But yeah, Craigslist isn't even in this predicament at all because it's like, it's too broad. Like, you can sell things, all that stuff. You're still attached to the platform.
On our platform and just spend hours a day staring at a screen, looking at what other people are fucking doing, and have no desire to actually go out and do shit themselves. That way we can sell targeted ads and make hundreds of billions of dollars.
Straight down the middle. No hook, no spin, no fuss. Anything more, and this becomes figure skater.
Okay, I wasn't exaggerating when I said it earlier. Every website that you use on the internet is an idea that was ripped off from Craigslist and then used to exploit you to make a ton of money. So 1996, Craigslist is up. It's pretty much being used to promote social events, and then people start uploading other things on there like job openings or resumes, and they're like helping people find employment, and Craig is like, oh.
This is also, like I said, this is also a good thing because now they are not addicted to needing more social media, engagement. You have job listings, you have, just general service promotions, things like that. That's honestly the best way to do it because that's the thing. Social media in itself is, you need to be on social media to make money, right? So this is like, oh, we're just going to have a more passive way of doing this.
Well, that seems like a good thing, but also he's getting so much traffic that he can't afford to keep this website running much longer because he has to operate all these servers because he's getting all these hits on his website. So he has to figure out a way to make at least a little bit of money. So what he does is whenever you want to post a job opening, he's going to charge you anywhere from $5 to $75 to post a job listing on his website. If you're a multi-million-dollar company...
Makes sense. Does this apply to like, just, hey, I'm trying to sell something like small? Like, oh yeah, I've got like some furniture laying around, sell that, like,
looking for, a hedge fund investor or a doctor, he's going to charge you $75. If you're a small home-owned business, if you're like the local hardware store, he's going to charge you $5 to help you find a new cashier. It's like the straightforward, honest way to go about business on the internet imaginable. And then you have companies like Indeed and Glassdoor that took that idea and made it way fucking worse. Craig's plan, give me $5, I'll post your job listing. If people are interested, they'll get a hold of you. You can interview them. If you hire them, great. Companies like Indeed and Glassdoor, okay, we're going to take Craigslist's idea, we're going to charge way more than $5 to post a job listing. It's actually going to be bidding, so whichever...
What? Posting a job on Indeed is generally free for basic organic listings to increase visibility and attract more candidates. Employers can sponsor a job which operates on a flexible pay-per-click model starting at roughly $5 per day or $150 per month. Costs vary based on job location and desired exposure. Free posting, most jobs, sponsored. Yeah, I'm not going to read this whole thing.
Job just as willing to pay the most, they're going to be listed at the top. Or we'll have it so the employer has to pay per click. But we're also just going to amass and collect millions and millions of resumes and credentials from potential employees. And we're going to use that data and sell it to massive employers. That way, if we get data that shows, like, I don't know, people with master's degrees are willing to work for a job that only pays $19 an hour, we're going to be able to turn around and sell that information to these massive employers. That way, they know how little they can pay people, and we're actually going to be able to make a ton of money by selling this information to that employer, and that massive employer is going to be able to underpay a ton of people, driving down wages across the entire country. And the best part is like half the job listings don't even actually exist, or they're ghost listings that have already been filled internally, but we're not going to tell anybody that, so they still give us all our personal information, so we can turn around and exploit people that are looking for work by selling their personal data.
Dude. So like I go on Indeed, I type in a job. Half the listings that appear aren't even valid, like active. What? Okay, I'm never using Indeed.
Yeah, I'm telling you, whatever you do on the internet, Craigslist did it first.
Wait a minute, why did you create that guy?
I didn't. Anyways.
And did it a lot better. I didn't. He stole it.
The website just keeps growing. Eventually, he's got to start hiring people to help him.
Someone
he ends
stole
up having
him.
9 employees working out of his apartment to run this website. And it just
Ooh.
keeps growing. People start posting more shit. Pretty soon, people are posting rental houses that are available. Or
Oh, I don't have the
houses that
chat
they're
on
trying
this.
to sell. Again, same super straightforward business model. Give me $5, we'll throw your house up on the internet, we'll help you sell it. Okay, literally, like the first website on the internet.
Yeah, I don't think
that
I.
allowed a
Okay.
home seller to connect
Oh,
to
wait.
a home buyer by looking at pictures on the internet of the house, and then they talk and meet in the middle. They go look at the house, they buy the fucking house, and then they don't have to give the real estate agent 6% of the value of their property. Wow, what a great idea. And then Zillow and Redfin and Realtor.com come along and they're like, hey, let's do the same exact thing. We'll make the website a little bit
But
prettier,
worse.
and people can go on the internet and look, and then we're not going to connect them with the buyer. No. We're going to harvest their information and then turn around and sell that information to the real.
Hold on, let me actually check something real quick. Okay, yeah. I don't think I'm getting. I think I have chat on this window, but I don't see it. Because obviously, since this isn't a game, I have to use a separate scene. I'll have to double check that later. Anyways, so chat might be absent for the duration of this stream.
Estate agent, and we're going to sell it to the real estate agent for anywhere between like $500 and $1,000 per lead, and then that's going to get baked into the real estate agent cost, which is already 6%, but now it's going to be even more because they have to pay this extra fee, and we're going to raise the prices of houses all across the entire fucking country.
This is the worst.
Which is something that Craigslist totally could have done if they wanted to, but they were fine just making $5. Okay, you understand? Craig literally gave you a way to circumvent having to pay real estate agents 6% of the value of your entire fucking house. And nobody likes using it because the user interface isn't pretty enough. It's insane.
I mean, that's the thing. You want to make it look nice because that's how you attract people. Now, whether or not that's wise is another story, but it's a useful insight. I think they could at least clean it up, kind of, like maybe make some more proper like UI. I'm not saying you have to change it every fucking year. It's like, oh yeah, the new quarter's come along. We got to change it for the investors, but I could see why people, again, I'm not attracted to this.
Which, to be fair, I kind of understand.
Yeah.
I look at Craigslist. If it were any other website on the planet besides Craigslist,
it looks like one of those cheap scam sites, basically. The only reason you know it's safe is because it says Craigslist.com in the URL.
Take one look at this and be like, that's a fucking scam. I mean,
yeah.
If you're being honest, Craigslist looks like it was made by a guy they hired off of Craigslist. You want to know why? Because that's exactly what happened. 1999, Jim's looking for a new employee.
Craig.
Starts pulling up resumes.
Don't know where you got Jim from.
Finds Jim Buckmaster, hires him. Dude's an absolute killer. Comes in, starts expanding Craigslist into other big cities all across the United States. Starts adding all.
Oh, that's another thing. It has a physical presence, right? Like this goes back to like just physical meetups and stuff like that, which is interesting how they manage that despite being a website. But yeah. So you'd obviously need to have someone managing the physical presence too. Like you need someone going to like, oh yeah, we're going to go to the LA metropolitan area and set up an office there or something like that. And things like that. You'd have to make sure that cities are properly listed. You would have to make sure, all that stuff is taken care of, which would be very hard. Like Twitter, it's like, oh yeah, you just type in type in whatever you want to say, your exact location, like the city, sure, but it's just type it in. But Craigslist, since it's kind of more reliant on a physical presence of employees, where they are, where employers are, all that, you need to make sure that you get proper physical verification. You can't just be like, oh yeah, San Francisco, and it pops up and you're in New York, and for some reason you're getting jobs from San Francisco.
of categories. He adds all the forums where you can have discussion, expanding their part of their social media. He starts adding all the different for sale sections where you can sell your used cars and everything else. He starts expanding absolutely everything. He even gives it its search engine. Yes, Craigslist had a search engine before Google even fucking existed. He basically came in and created the Craigslist that we have today, quickly became the CEO, and he gave us the glorious for sale section on Craigslist where people can go and sell all their shit or give away their shit for free. And guess what they're going to charge for it? Absolutely nothing. It's free.
Yeah.
They're making enough money off of the real estate listings and the housing listings. I think they charge a certain fee if you're an actual car dealer selling your car, but if you're just a private person trying to sell your car, it's free. Everything else is free. You want to sell anything else on the internet like that, you're going to be paying a subscription fee and they're going to charge you a percentage. You want to sell yourself on Shopify, congratulations.
The absolute minimum is that you get an ad.
Paying me X amount of dollars a month no matter what, and I'm taking like a 2 to 3% flat rate of everything you sell. Same thing with Etsy, same thing with eBay, same thing with Amazon. You're giving them a percentage cut of everything you sell. Craigslist, free. Facebook Marketplace is free too, and it does the same thing. Is it free, or does it come at the cost of having to give Mark Zuckerberg all your personal information so he can turn around?
Also, ads. Like, I have checked Facebook Marketplace before, you know, because cheap and all that stuff. Also, I don't think people on Facebook Marketplace are exactly as educated, I guess, on like resale value and stuff as like someone who's like, you know, like some eBay grinder or even something like OfferUp grinding. So I feel like Facebook Marketplace, if you're looking for a deal that isn't a scam, would probably be a more economically viable thing, you know. And this isn't obviously like, you know, I'm not trying to be like, oh yeah, corrupt, trying to F over the middleman or the little guy or something. But it's like, dude, if someone's offering you genuinely good products or very, very cheap just because they're like, I have something to throw up for $10, I don't know the real value, nor do I care, just want to make some little change off of it. It's like, I mean, I guess you could take advantage of that. I mean, I wouldn't say it's necessarily scummy because, like, it's a mutually agreed upon thing. But yeah, so I've explored the idea of Facebook Marketplace, and I couldn't remember if there were ads on that specifically.
And sell it, and now
probably.
He knows that you drive a 19-
or yeah, like you have a sponsored like section, like these sponsored posts at the top.
1997 clapped out Toyota Camry, and he's gonna hyper target you with ads 24/7. Not to mention, you can go to Craigslist anonymously. There's no tracking. You don't have an account. There's no profile. You can just literally get the dude's email or phone number and call him and be like, hey, I'm selling that Toyota Camry. I'd like to come see it. Great. You go there, you give him cash, you take the Camry, you fuck off, and you have a great day.
Okay.
I don't need to know that guy's name. He doesn't need to know my name. I give him money. I buy the car. I leave. That's the end of the story. Or I can do it on Facebook Marketplace, and then he gets curious, and he decides to click on my profile. And now he knows what I look like. He knows what my wife and kids look like. He knows my last name. He knows where I work. He knows all kinds of personal information about me. And just, no, thank you. It's completely unnecessary. Craig did it first. He did it for free, and he did it better. Speaking of clapped out Toyotas, Jim Bucknell, when he was adding all these extra features and forums and discussion things on Craig.
I'm going to have to check out Craigslist after this. See if I can find some listings. Obviously I'm trying to I'm trying to upgrade, you know, stream stuff when I can, and, you know, maybe sell some extra stuff that I just have laying around from other things. Like I changed out my mic. I have other mics lying around. This is a temporary mic. I'm probably going to sell this too if I can. So it's like, I don't know.
Craigslist decided that he had a good idea. He was going to take the best, funniest posts in Craigslist history from all across the world, and he was going to archive them in the best of Craigslist section. And the funniest fucking ad of all time is in there for a Toyota Corolla.
What?
The listing name is 1999 Toyota Corolla. Fine as fuck. You want a car that gets the job done? You want
$2,500
free? You want a car that literally no one will ever compliment you on? Well, look no further. The 1999 Toyota Corolla. Let's talk about the features. Bluetooth. Nope. Sunroof? Nope.
Nah.
Fancy wheels? Nope.
Still no.
Rear view camera? But it's got a transparent rear window and you've got a fucking neck that can turn. Let me tell you a story. One day my Corolla started making a strange noise. I didn't give a shit and ignored it. It went the fuck away. The end. You can take the engine out of this car, drop it off the Golden Gate Bridge, fish it out of the water 1,000 years later, put it in the trunk of the car, fill the gas tank up with Nutella, turn the key, and this puppy would fucking start right up. This car will outlive you. It will outlive your children. Things this
This is amazing. This is amazing.
car is old enough to do. Vote, yes. Consent to sex, yes. Rent a car, it is a car. This car's got history. It's seen some shit. People have done.
Wait, how old is this post? Like, it's clearly old enough to. It's clearly old enough to do a lot of things. It's at least 21 years old. Vote, consent, rent a car. It is a car. I don't see drinks, so maybe it's not a 21-year-old car, but
Straight things
hey.
in this car. People have done gay things in this car. It's not going to judge you like some fucking Volkswagen would. Interesting facts about this car. The car's exterior color is gray, but the interior is also gray. The owner's manual, oil is listed as optional. When this car was unveiled,
What do you mean optional? Don't you kind of need oil in a fucking car? Is that what kind of helps make it run?
the 1998 Detroit Auto Show, it caused all 2,000 attendees to spontaneously yawn. The resulting abrupt change of air pressure inside the building caused a partial collapse of the roof. 4 people died. The event was chronicled in the documentary Bored to Death, the story of the 1999 Toyota Corolla. You want to know more about this car? Great. I had my car fill out a Facebook survey. Favorite food? Spaghetti. Favorite TV show? Alf. Favorite band? A tie between Bush and the Gin Blossoms. This car is as practical as a Roth IRA. It's as middle of the road as your grandpa during his last silver alert. It's as utilitarian as a member of a church whose scripture is based entirely on water bills. I don't even know what the fuck that means.
What? Wait. Wait. That's a member. What the does that even mean, man? I'm just utterly confused. I don't know what to say. I'm just saying gibberish just to have a sense of reason.
Scripture is based entirely on water bills.
I guess utility bill, utilitarian. That's a roundabout way of saying it, though. But okay.
I don't even know what the fuck that means.
I don't either.
I ran the Carfax
think
on
I
this
get it.
car. I got a single sheet of paper back that said it's a Corolla. It's fine. Let's face it.
There's no way. Okay, obviously the car, can't vote and all that, but like, I don't like of the things that could be half serious, like the Carfax thing. I don't know if it is or not. I don't know if Carfax would legitimately be like, it's a Corolla, it's fine, whatever.
Facts. This car isn't going to win any beauty contest, but neither are you. Stop lying to yourself and stop lying to your wife. This isn't the car you want, it's the car you deserve. The fucking 1999 Toyota Corolla. I need to do a video of just the funniest Craigslist ads.
Please.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm getting horribly sidetracked. Anyways, early 2000s, Craigslist is absolutely crushing it. People want them to...
I'm dying. That's the most wild Craigslist ad I've ever seen.
IPO. They want them in the stock
Or
market.
post,
People
whatever.
want to invest, but Craig is like,
No.
nah, I'm good.
Yeah, that's the thing. You want I want to say this because it's kind of true, but it's kind of political. I want to say this. Sure, I'll say it. You want to prove why communism can't work? Just go to the stock market. It's basically communism light. Communism is everyone owns everything. Stock market is everyone owns everything if you want, And guess what? Every publicly traded company is a disaster. It is micromanaged to death, and all to appease investors that don't actually care about the company, that just want to see the stock price go up. All that private, just genuine private, locally owned companies like Craigslist are great. They're ethical. They're not trying to appease faceless investors that most of which will never have any say on how the board is run. You know, it's again, same thing with communism. Communism is everyone owns the industry. It's a community owned industry, but most people are working for the industry. You know what I mean? Like, so it proves why pure communism especially just doesn't really work. Like, okay, it's like, dude, like I could add more to that, but I'm gonna stop right
It's
there.
fine. I'm just gonna keep owning it. This is working. I'm making a ton of money. I don't need to open it up to like investors because then I'm gonna be, you know, bound to make the investors more money,
Right.
and then they're gonna want me to turn.
And that's the thing. That's the thing. It's like the investors ruin the company because, again, these are just whoever. Like that's the thing. Like, dude, as long as you have enough money to buy a $5, maybe $15 to $20 stock at the most, you're good enough to invest in the stock market. You're good enough to become a business owner essentially. And guess what? You dilute the company's core values because you might not even care about the company. You see, oh yeah, it's giving like, you know, 5% dividends. That's actually pretty good for a public stock. So you're like, okay, I'm going to buy into this to get the dividend. You don't care about the company. You know, you don't care whether or not it succeeds or fails. The only thing you care about is it succeeding enough to pay me? You know, is a stock price going up? You know, is whatever. And yeah, so suffice it to say, it's basically just like some extreme merging of capitalism and communism in the sense that it's a private company to some degree, but it's publicly owned. Like a communist system and public ownership does not go well.
Around and start charging.
It's never worked out.
Everybody to post things on Craigslist, and it ruins the entire spirit of why I started this business.
Right.
No, I make enough money. I don't need to be an evil tech billionaire. Just no. He literally gets told by investment bankers and venture capital people that if he would just IPO and allow outside investors to come in, he could make $11 billion. And he's like, don't care. In his own words,
yeah.
and I quote, "It didn't bother me because my moral compass was set in Sunday school."
Dang. That's a great, like, I feel this is kind of why Steam succeeds where, you know, the Epic Games Store and the like fail. Not obviously Steam is somewhat owned by investors, but and probably even public companies, but most of it is Gabe Newell to my knowledge. And he runs Steam pretty ethically.
At which point, all of the venture capitalists and all of these people came out of the woodwork and they're like, wow, Craig is a great guy. We're going to leave him alone forever. No, I'm just kidding. eBay tries to buy him out. He says no. And then eBay brute forces their way in. One of the first.
How? He's a private investor. The only way you can brute force your way in is through like some sneaky tactics. You're not forced to sell your company. You know, like this isn't sneaky tactics. So yeah, you'd have to resort to sneaky tactics. Like, oh yeah, this eBay insider is going to pose as like, you know, just a regular investor. He's going to be like, oh yeah, let me buy like a 25% share of the company for like $20 million. That will give you some venture capital to help prop up the company. It'll be all fine. And you're like, okay, by the way, why you're so interested? Don't worry about it. And then eBay just sneakily like is like, okay, no, you sell your stock to me, which is obviously perfectly fine. Or well, I shouldn't say fine, but it's not ethical, but it's perfectly fine legally. Like once someone owns the stock, they're free to do with whatever they want with that stock. And if they decide to sell it to someone else, so be it. A major corporation that the founder wanted nothing to do with, so be it.
Employees for Craigslist got paid in equity and he owned like 25% of the company. And he was disgruntled because he obviously wanted to sell out and make billions of dollars. And Craig wasn't going to let him. So he turned around and sold his 25% share in Craigslist to eBay for $32 million.
Wait, hold on. Let me back that up. Make sure I get
we're going to leave him alone forever. No, I'm
Right,
just
right.
kidding. eBay tries to buy him out. He says no.
Right.
And then eBay brute forces their way in. One of the first employees for Craigslist got paid in equity, and he owned like 25% of the company. And he was disgruntled because he obviously wanted to sell out and make billions of dollars, and Craig wasn't going to let him. So he turned around and sold his 25% share in Craigslist to eBay for $32 million.
Which is his right to do. I don't think Craig, and I think once it's sold to another investor, like, you have to buy them back. You can't just be like, hey, I don't like what you did. Give me back my stock. You know, it's a monetary transaction.
To be fair, there is several different accounts. That's one account. The other account is that both Jim and Craig and this disgruntled employee all banded together and sold eBay 28.4% of the company for $32 million. And that the reason that Craig allowed it was basically to offload this disgruntled guy that was already upset. And he saw there may be some strategic value with eBay. And allegedly, eBay had made a bunch of promises that they weren't going to try to change Craigslist. Regardless of which one.
They don't have enough stock to do that anyways. As long as it's below 50% or 51, as low as it's below a majority, they don't even have the power on their own to do that. They need to build a coalition of investors at that point, which, seeing as there's like, 2 or 3 more other investors, it's like, okay.
Of those two scenarios, it was eBay comes in. They're now a board member sitting on the board because they have this huge
minority board member. They don't have the majority board control like they probably would prefer, because when you're a majority board member, you can much more easily pass things like through. Whereas like if I'm the majority board member and you're a minority board member and you're like do this, sure, if we're all minority board members, you might be able to squeeze your way into other minority board members to make them be like, yeah, you have the clout to be like, change other minority board members, get them on your side. But as long as I'm the majority, I could just turn down
huge share of Craigslist, and they immediately start trying to change Craigslist so they can make a ton of more money. And Craig, not having that shit. Absolutely not.
You gonna get away with it? Not up in here. Not up in here!
So, because eBay couldn't make Craig utilize Craigslist to make more money and exploit people, they turned around, and because they were sitting on the board, they had access to all this private personal data, because Craigslist to this day is still a private company. We don't actually know how much money they make. These are all like projections and hearsay. So they're super private about all.
They do not have to disclose their revenue to the public, the general public. They are not a public company. The general public does not need to know how much they're making, because the general public does not have a vested interest, vested monetary interest, especially in the company.
Information and their internal workings. So they gather up.
Now the private investors need to be told, because they need to know whether or not they got to sell their stock. But that's their issue. And then of course a publicly traded company, which is publicly traded all the time to the general public, they obviously need to be more aware so that the general public can make wise business decisions.
All this information and then turn around and start a website called Kijiji, which is a knockoff of Craigslist that now dominates Canada. Obviously, Craig's pretty pissed off about this, and he needs to get them off the board so they don't have access to this information. So he ends up diluting their shares.
Also, because they obviously own a fixed amount of shares, like let's say 20,000 shares. So he could just be like, well, 20,000 shares, 20-ish%, let's say they have 28,000. He could just be like, okay, so we got 100,000 shares. Let's make 1 billion shares. Dilute those 28,000 down to, like 0.28%. And then their board power has minimal influence. And another thing is, it's less valuable.
Below 25%. That way they no longer have their board seat and they can't have this information anymore. Problem solved.
Oh, it's only if they're a board member? And what board member is only above 25?
eBay turns around and sues him because of it. He turns around and sues eBay for giving away his personal information and creating competitors. And it turns into this enormous legal battle that ultimately resolves with Craig buying back all the equity from eBay. And that's it. The rest is history. Craigslist to this day is still the exact same thing that it was back in the early 2000s. It's identical. Craigslist still looks like it was designed by a guy they hired off of Craigslist because it was. There's no algorithms that select select the
Right.
best post and rank them higher. There's no way to pay money to get your post ranked higher. It's just, we're going to post it chronologically, and however you posted it, that's the order it's going up on the website. We haven't hired psychologists and business majors to figure out and construct a way to keep you on the platform as long as possible, to try to force you to digest as many ads as possible for us to make more money. No, you go to Craigslist, you get the information you want, you leave Craigslist, you go meet a stranger, you buy a couch for $40, and you blow it the fuck up with Tannerite.
Right, we're getting back to this.
Craigslist is literally the predecessor for social media, finding houses online, buying used cars online,
They did it all.
Literally everything you use the internet for, Craigslist came up with and pioneered that shit and offers almost all of it to you to this day for free.
Free. Now, any websites that existed before Craigslist were probably just like static sites that, you know, large corporations mainly owned just to have the site, just have the domain, and maybe kind of sort of promote their business online. But other than that, you know, Craigslist probably pioneered like the, you know, active website where, you know, you go there for an active update like YouTube or Twitter or any social media platform really, rather than these static sites that were just like, oh yeah, come check out our business. We're here.
Sounds good to me.
Craig could have literally been an evil tech trillionaire. He could have been the guy
He could have.
Zillow, Realtor.com, Redfin.
Yeah.
He could have ran Indeed, Glassdoor, Facebook, Instagram,
Could have run them all.
X. All that money all these companies have made, that could have been him, but he would have had to fuck you over to do it.
Right.
And he wasn't willing to do it, and he just decided, you know what? Hundreds of millions of dollars is enough. I'm going to be a good person. And that is why Craigslist is the best and arguably the most important website of all time. Thank you for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch. Maybe drink
Let's
some
go.
alcohol. All that's available over at thefatelectrician.com. Quack bang out.
And that is why
I don't know
Hold on.
how much Tannerite it takes to blow up a couch, but I know how much I'm going to use.
Okay. Okay. So that's that video. Hold on. Is there any more? Oh, yeah, there's so more. It looks like it's going to get good.
All right, fine, we'll do one more. This is a close second. Coffee table of the gods. This coffee
Yeah.
table's perfect for someone with
Sounds
a
great.
cocaine habit or looking to shoot an adult-rated film. As you can see from the photo, the majestic beauty of this coffee table rivals earthly treasures such as the color of the sky at sunset, the laughter of a small child, and infidelity. Qualities of this table: carpeted, mirrored. The motherfucker spins. Doesn't have any weird splotches under black lights. Due to the assumed large
Doesn't yet.
demand for this table, all inquiries will be subjected to a quiz to determine their level of badassery. The price on the table is firm, $7.83, 4 cans of Chef Boyardee beef ravioli, and a framed photo of Betty White, located in Minneapolis.
Let's get rid of that.
It's amazing how much fun you can have if you've got the balls.
Okay.